Wine Speeders, Amanda McCrossin here from @SomVivant, and I'm here in my office, i.e. the wine cellar, at Press Restaurant in Napa Valley where I'm the wine director. Buying wine online at an auction or at an auction in person is one of the best ways to score a great deal on a bottle of wine and find really unique things that you'd have a hard time finding otherwise. As the curator of all things wine here at the restaurant, I've definitely done my fair share of buying wine from auction, from collectors, and learning the ins and outs of buying these wines secondhand. There's a lot of value to be had here and there's a lot of great deals to score, but it's important that you know the ins and outs of the auction process and what to look for when you're deciding whether to make that bid. I'm here to break a few things down for you and make it a little bit easier to understand and to make sure that you get that perfect bottle of wine. There is nothing more exhilarating than an auction. It just gets your heart going, you're very excited, and as that clock ticks down, you start to wonder, am I gonna get the bottle and am I gonna get it at the price that I wanted it? I love using sites like WineBid.com, KL Wines, and of course, some of the more classics like Bonhams and Sotheby's that exist all around the country and offer some of their auction items online as well as in person. So how does one approach the wine auction circuit? Well, first things first, I think it's always easiest to start online. It's a little less intimidating than being there in person, and it'll certainly allow you to make decisions that are in the comfort of your own home and not be persuaded by other people bidding against you in that room. So let's start with the wine itself. Say you come across a bottle you're really excited about. Maybe it's this 1975 Heights Fave Vineyard, a really rare bottle, a super cool bottle, and you see it on auction and it looks like the right price, but how do you know whether it's good? Well, provenance is everything. Wines don't love to be moved around so much, and they definitely love to be stored in perfect conditions, meaning temperature controlled at about 60 degrees or lower, with a little bit of humidity on their sides, and of course, away from the sun. The second we start moving wines around is the second that quality can start to deteriorate. So the first thing you're gonna look for is, how has this wine been stored? The best two options are of course going to be either direct from the winery or from a professional wine storage facility. Subterranean cellars or refrigerated units are also great too, but keep in mind that at times power can go out, things can happen, and the quality of the bottle could have been compromised. So assess your conditions and assess what you're willing to risk. The second thing you're going to assess is the fill level. And what that means is the fill level in the actual bottle. You've got different variations of what that could be. Oxygen is wine's worst enemy and best friend. Too much of it is a bad thing, but wines always want a little bit. It's why we have a cork in there. Corks offer a little bit of oxygen exchange, but we don't want too much or it speeds up the process and can turn the wine into vinegar. We can often detect how much oxygen exchange has taken place by the level of wine that's in the actual bottle. We call this poolage. The higher the fill, the more likely that bottle is going to be in good condition. So what we're looking for is no lower than a top shoulder fill. Anything lower than that can indicate that the wine could potentially be oxidized, meaning it was exposed to more air than it should have been, and potentially that you had a faulty cork and that there was seepage. Seepage is when the wine actually seeps out of the bottle and can indicate that the wine has been improperly stored, seen heat, or had a faulty cork. This is an example of a bottle that you don't want to be buying. This is an example of a bottle that's got a very low fill, the cork even fell in. This is a bottle of wine that is most likely going to be nothing but vinegar. This is a 1980 Chouc Cellars Pinot Noir. This bottle looks absolutely fantastic. The fill's at the top of the base here. It looks great, the color looks great. There's no signs of seepage. The cork is not pushing, which is another great indication. This is what we consider absolutely premium and optimal for purchasing a wine. After you've assessed whether or not the bottle is in good enough condition for you to make a bid on, now you need to consider the price. The price that you choose to bid is not going to be the final price of what you end up paying. Most wine auction houses have what's called a premium, a buyer's premium, which is an additional percentage tacked onto the winning bid. Meaning, if you purchased a bottle for $20 at auction, there's going to likely be somewhere between a 15 and 20% premium tacked onto that. Factor in tax and shipping, and you can have a much more expensive bottle than you intended on buying in the first place. Keep in mind that most wine auction houses will not accept a return for a faulty bottle. Be willing to take the risk and be willing to take the gamble, but do your research ahead of time to mitigate what could possibly happen once that bottle arrives. I've personally had a lot of luck with auctions, but I've also had a few misses as well. Buying wines from auction is not an exact science, and you can definitely find yourself at a loss, but by and large, there's a lot of great deals and a lot of value to be had, and a lot of fun bottles that you wouldn't normally be able to find normally at your own local wine shop or even at the winery. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you all again next time.